Hello everyone. I'm going to have another go at a pen and wash today, and I'm going to be using my Sailor Fude pen. I'm using my Indigo Artway sketchbook, and I've got a reference picture here that I got from Pixabay. Now I won't possibly do it exactly like that, but hopefully that's going to give me an idea anyway. What else have I got out? I've got 3 Isco de Perla brushes, a 12, a 10 and an 8, and then I've got a few Daniel Smith colours in this little travel palette basically. So I'll yell out what I'm using as I go, and then I've got a little plate here to do a bit of mixing on. Got my water, I've got a cloth here, so I'm set to go. So let's see if we can get this building in, which is a rather nice, interesting building. So we've got that side bit there. This bit comes forward at an angle, and then the roof goes at another angle, kind of like so. Let's get this bit of the roof in, and then we've got let's see, we've got, well actually I think I'm gonna have to get these bricks in at the front here, aren't I? Okay, let's kind of do that first, otherwise I think my perspective will probably go all wrong, but then again it could probably go all wrong anyway. So I just want to get these ones in that are quite, they're going sort of fairly straight down at the front there. So we'll get you in. And I'm just going to fix that door that is flat. Sorry about that if you picked that up sound wise. It was my door that hadn't been closed properly, and I've got windows open, so a bit of a breeze made it kind of slam. Right, let's get some more of these kind of bricks in. Let's not do them too religiously, other than those ones at the front there. Okay, so we've got that part of our building. We've got a doorway coming down, and that's quite a thick line there. And then this has got lines going down like so, and maybe there's a bit of a slab at the front there. We've then got this triangular part, so let's, and that needs to be at the same angle as that roughly, so we'll get you in, going something like that, and then we can get this line in, and then we need a window. So we'll get our little window in there. Now we need some more bricks going across here. We've got that kind of angle going on, haven't we? So it's almost like oh, this could be tricky, couldn't it? Right. Maybe I'll start at the bottom here, and I almost need to kind of show that they're doing this kind of thing. So I need to kind of shadow it or something, I'm thinking. And then we've got the more coming out. And it does go over further, doesn't it? Yeah. And they do kind of stick out a bit. Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, I don't think that's too bad. We've got some lines going on down here. So we need to get those in. Right. Let's do a bit of a horizon line. Going across there, and I kind of want a bit of another line to kind of break it up a bit, and maybe another one there as well, something along those lines. Then we've got some quite big boulders going on, so we'll get some of those in with some smaller ones as well. We've got a big one over here and here. In fact, they're all over this bit, aren't they? It's quite heavily occupied with those, and then we've almost got some that are just leading out of that doorway, but they're much flatter. So, and I'm just going to hint at the fact that these carry on over that side, because I want to leave some of that side as my white of the paper. So I think I can maybe get some kind of darker edges, things going on. Which kind of helps with our stonework. And we even need some of those just little shapes in here every now and again, I think. Not everywhere, because that overdoes everything, but just in a few places. And that window seems to be quite blocked out. Right. So next we are on to adding some colour. Let's start with a bit of a sky, and I'm going to wet this. This paper, by the way, cotton, it's like cotton rag paper. It's 100% cotton, and it's very thirsty paper. You just have to remind yourself about, but it does mean that you can get some nice dry brush effects as well. Right, what have I got? Should we use Lunar Blue? Let's use Lunar Blue and get some of that in our sky. And the thing that I like about this paper is that it's really easy to get like that effect of clouds. You don't have to play around with it too much. It's not like that's a particularly complex sky in any case. Okay, so now let's move down, because that's all going to be wet. And I kind of want, what have we got here? I've got, let's go with undersea green, but I'm going to mix it up with some buff titanium to get the kind of grassy bits, if you like, a bit more. There, I think that's going to do nicely, and I might even add some more pen in here. More water for this paper, more water than you would think. Let's just water that down even further. And because this is a pen and wash, we're not making a piece of fine art as such. Well, it is fine art, hopefully, but not in the true sense of the word. So we don't have to worry about being too precise with our paint, which is what the joy of doing this is. Okay, right, moving away, still trying to keep away from wet bits. I'm going to do that door. Let's use some indigo. And maybe we'll add a bit of sepia to that. There we go. And then I've got a more greyed out blue. Well, a grey, really, now that I look at it, because that door is pretty much grey. There we go. We've got our little door in. I don't think it will hurt to do our brickwork, but I'm going to add in, so that we've got a slightly different colour, I'm going to add in some buff titanium to do this brickwork. And then I might add some little brown bits as well. So yeah, the nice thing is that we don't really need to be too precious when we're doing pen and wash, which is lovely. It's just right. Now I'm going to get my sepia that I've used before, and I just want to add some little, while it's still wet, some hints of brown, just to break it up a little bit, so that we've got some interest going on. Yes, that's nice. Right, let's go back to our indigo. And we'll get this top board in. Now, it's not indigo on the photograph, but this is where our own artistic license comes in. And I just wanted it to be a slightly different tone to the door, really. Let's go back to our undersea green we used, didn't we? Yep. And we've got this roof. which is basically grasses, the looks of it, which is really interesting. And so I don't want it to be too neat on the edges, just to give it a little bit of an impression. And I'll probably go in with my pen again just to break that up a bit. Right, let's it's quite a warm day here, so my paint is drying quite quickly. Now I'm going to go to my buff titanium again, mixed with a little bit of the indigo. And I might even just add a bit of buff titanium in there as well on its own. Getting our little stones in. Actually, some of them aren't little, are they? Some of them are quite big. There, so we've now got some stones in. Now I'm going to play around with this horizon a little bit, and I'm going to echo the green that's in the roof and pop that there and there. And then I'm going to take my buff titanium on its own. Ooh, that's in my way. I'm not worrying too much if it runs, because I've got my lines there that I've done with my pen. So, and you know, trying not to use too many colours again. Well, I think what I need to do, so what have I used? I've used sepia, buff titanium, lunar blue, indigo and undersea green. Those are the colours that I've used. I'm going to dry this off and maybe add a bit more pen in there. Right, back with our pen, and I just want to get some grasses around the edge of this building so that it's a bit more grounded. And then if you look, we've got lots of grasses going on, you know, between these rocks. So I'm going to add some of those in. But as I said, I'm not trying to do a photograph. I always try and mention that, because you know, it's more about the inspiration and the let's just see what we can do with this this roof here, because that's got all sorts of bits that are kind of coming down. So I want that to look a bit looser. And I want to show that that's grass. Hardest bit is trying to do these things kind of randomly, because you don't want them to look too uniform. And I suppose I could have pulled out some coloured pencils, but I just felt like I wanted to stick with my pen for this one, and I think I need to kind of make that a bit darker there, because that's kind of underneath. So we'll just make that a bit darker under there. But other than that, and if that is still a tad, yes, it is a tad wet because it hasn't dried yet. I think I've made that a bit too much. So whilst I've got it wet, I'm just going to smudge that a bit more. Don't want to feel like I've overdone it. It probably is still a trifle dark. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to dry it and get a white pencil out. Right, back into ticks. So I've pulled out a Derwent Lightfast in Olive Earth and a Derwent Drawing in Chinese White. So I'm going to use that Chinese White to just dull that back down a bit. And then I'm using the Olive Earth just to get some more of that greenery on the roof that's in kind of more patches, really. And I think that's kind of helping a bit more. Yeah. Do I want to add a little bit of the green down here with the pencil, just so as it's not all in one place? Yeah, I think so. Well, it's quite a toned down painting, but it's a toned down photograph, really. So there we go. There is my version of this Pixabay photograph. Have I got that quite right? I'm not sure I've got it quite right, but it's better than I've done before, probably. So I'm feeling quite good about that. Yeah, I maybe needed to have done something here to show that that's an edge. Let me just see what happens if let me see how this might go. So it's almost like showing that there's a I'm not sure if I'm making that better or worse. Yeah, perspective, a nightmare. Anyway, there we are. There is my pen and wash for today. I'm playing around with pen and wash a lot at the moment. I'm having fun with the pen and wash book by John Harrison. So now when I'm buying books, I'm trying to play rather than just read it and put it on the shelf. So yeah, I'm enjoying doing these little pen and wash. What do you think? Do you think I'm doing a good job? I don't know. Anyway, take care, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, everyone.